Hey guys, there's nothing more important than getting people off to a fast start. So what me and Mike are going to cover right now for all you leaders is how to get people off to a fast start in the proper way to do a fast start planner. So most likely you're a leader listening to this, wanting to get better or wanting to master how to get people off to a fast start, or maybe you're brand new and watching this and learning how to get off to a fast start. But either way, what this is going to be detailed to do is to specifically teach our leaders how to get people off to a fast start properly. And there's nobody better, in my opinion, that does that than Mike. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through this together and teach you guys over the next 30 minutes how exactly to do that. So you'll probably be using this TKO Fast Start Planner. It is our team and our hierarchies Fast Start Planner. We designed it specifically for our organization and use it, and it works very, very good. So hopefully you're using this and making sure that this is duplicatable. So the first thing that we go through is the Welcome to Primerica. And what we go through right here is the design is to get somebody off to a fast start. So what we say right here is that we want to get somebody off to a fast start, not a slow start, not a turtle start. We don't want them moving slowly. We want to get people moving quickly through the system. And so this page right here is saying, hey, you can get off to a fast start. You can earn $1,000 to $3,000 a month. But long term, if you want to do this as a career, then we want you making $100,000 a year. We want you earning this ring, obviously like both of us have one, and that is the goal for leaders that want to be full-time. Is we want them to go RVP, we want them to be a $100,000 income earner and to help this company grow. So right here what we say is what we're going to do is we're going to go through some goals. Nothing more important than going over goals, because Michael talked about this here in a second, but we got to find out what the person wants when we're doing a fast start planner. Second thing, we got to write it down. We got to put pen to paper, because if we just sat here and talked about stuff, it would mean a little bit but not a lot. When we put pen to paper, it's very important. And then also it's up for us to take action, right? We can say and talk and we can do whatever we want, but unless we take action, this is irrelevant and it's a waste of time. So we got to take action leaving this orientation, or even at the orientation, we got to start taking action, okay? Right here, this also does is shows them how to get on Primerica Online, has the website right here so they can go on, start studying, doing whatever they need to do, okay? So this page is very important. I explained this just like this. When we're talking to a brand new agent, let's say I'm talking to Mike, for instance, say, Mike, look, the main thing is this, is you have my phone number and I am your lifeline. What do I mean by that? Is that if you need anything done, you have any questions, any concerns, anything, you need to call me. And it says that right here. Because here's the thing, we don't want people confused. We don't want people frustrated because they don't know what to do. So I tell people all the time, you may think that I'm busy, you may not want to bother me, but Mike, it actually bothers me if you're not calling me. I love for you to call me, text me, whatever you need to do, because I want to know that you're ready to win here. I want to know that you're learning, you're wanting to learn, you're wanting to grow. And if I'm not hearing from you and if we're not communicating, then I get concerned because I'm afraid that maybe you're falling off the planet or I'm not sure what's going on. But the main thing is that if you have any questions or any concerns, you need to let me know immediately so I can help answer that. Because trust me, guys, when you have people that you're training, they're going to be confused. They're going to have concerns. There's going to be people that say negative things to them, right? And if they listen to negativity out there and don't come to you and you give them positivity, then they're going to quit or they're going to be gone. So that's so important when you're doing an orientation, is that we make them know that, hey, if you hear anything, you have any concerns, anything comes up positively or negatively, you need to call me so I can address it and I can answer any questions, because I promise you I have all the answers. I've been doing this a long time. Mike's been doing this a long time. Both professionals at what we do, and there's nothing that we can't answer. And I promise you, if you get any negativity, it's just simply coming from somebody who's either ignorant to what we do, or they have no idea what they're talking about, or maybe they had a bad experience, and we can answer every question that they have to assure them how great this company is and what we're doing. So it's very important you cover that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it over to Mike for this page. Very important, going over goals and finding out what they want. So go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, I think in the very beginning, like just to reiterate what Blake was saying, when you get somebody going and you sign their IBA, this is so very important. When I first signed my IBA, Blake met with me within 48 hours, and when I met Blake, he told me the same thing. He said, listen, we can talk, you can call me as much as you need, ask questions, and I took advantage of that, and that's why I'm in the business today, because he always answered the phone and we always communicated, and I felt like I could get what I wanted by calling him and spending time with him and following the system that he put in place. So I want to share this with you really quick, because I think that in the beginning, people, when they come into this business, they don't really know what to expect. If you ask them how much money do they want to make, they don't really know what's possible. So I try to make it real simple for them. And like it says right here in the first, now what I usually do, I'll mark out 3 months right here. and I'll just say, what would you like to accomplish within the first month? If they say, I don't really know, I'll say, okay, that's fine. What I would like to do, if it's okay with you, Blake, I'd like to get you in a situation where you can make at least average around $1,500 a month within 30 days from now. I want to get you in that situation. I want to get you in the position to do that. Are you okay with that? And normally they'll say, absolutely, $1,500 part-time, that'd be incredible. See, but the thing is, I got to lay it out real clear for them what the process is. And I'll give you an example. Let's just say, I recruited somebody on Friday, which is the 27th, right? Well, we have a licensing class on the 28th and 29th. So, in my opinion, there's three things we got to do. We got to lay it out for them. The first thing we want to do is we want to get them into a licensing class. So I'll say step one is, let's get you into a licensing class 28th and 29th of this month, and I'm going to write that down. So ultimately, what I'm telling them is, we're going after $1,500 a month, and this is the first step. Now, I can encourage them to go to class, but obviously I can't do that for them. It is on them to do that.
Right.
Then I'll go into the second thing we have to do while we're getting you licensed and getting the pre-licensing done and getting you ready to test. We need to go see 16 people for help with training, okay? Now, this is very, very important. This is what I'll say. I'll say, listen, Blake, if you were, let's just pretend that you were getting married, right? If you were getting married and money was not an issue, how many people could you invite to your wedding within a 30-mile radius? And Blake would say,
By 100 to 200.
100 to 200. That's incredible, man. To be honest with you, we need to see 16 right now, and here's why. Here's the thing. Notice that I'm talking about 16 people that would come to his wedding, and the reason I'm saying that is because if he's got 100 people that would come to his wedding, surely we can find 16 people that would help him get trained for his new career.
Absolutely.
So I run that in there too. And then the third thing I say, which is very important, because they don't know a lot, and this is important because if I say, listen, here's the situation. I want to get you into position to make $1,500 by February 15th, right? This is what we're going to do. Today is January 28th, right? This is when you're going to class. What's going to happen, Blake, is you're going to go to class on the 28th and 29th. Now, what that does is that opens your window for you to be able to take the real life insurance exam. By Louisiana law, you got to have 20 hours of education. So they know that there's a sense of urgency right here. They've got to get this done because if they get it done on the 29th, it's going to take about 7 business days before they can even take the real exam. So I say, Blake, here's our plan. Step one, we're going to get you into class. You're going to finish on the 29th, right? We're going to have you testing no later than February 15th. So what that does, once you complete the class, that gives you that amount of time. That gives you right at 2 weeks to be studying for your exam. And here's the perfect scenario. On February 15th, you go in there and pass your test. And because we've got you promoted, we've seen 16 people for help with your training. Now we can promote you to a district leader, which is $1,000 to $3,000 a month part-time. That is the perfect scenario for you. And
not going to cut him off right here, but what's going on right here is what Mike is doing is creating urgency. What you see right here is, hey, let's get you to class immediately. Now, their class may not be that next weekend, maybe the weekend after that or whatever, but we need to get you into class immediately. We need to go see people, what? Immediately. And then shortly after that, we need to get you licensed immediately, because what Mike is doing, and he does a tremendous job of this, is you're creating urgency in your new recruit. You're creating urgency in their mind, because what happens is when people get off to a slow start, it's like, oh, well, you can go to class next month, or you can set appointments here and there, or just do it in your own time frame. No, guys, strong people want to be told what to do. Weak people need to be told what to do. We have to teach them what to do and show them what to do in this and create urgency in their mind, and that's how people are going to go off the fast start.
That's very, very important, Blake. And also what I'm doing is I'm making it really, really simple. You know, we're going to go through a lot of information right here, but at the end, and when I'll get to it, I'm going to say, listen, really what I want you to do, I want you to know what's possible, but what I need you to do right now is follow these 3 steps, and we're absolutely going to get you your goals. And then I'll go down right here, you know, we'll mark out by February 15th, we'll put 2 weeks, right, to get these accomplished, and then we'll go in, will you allow me to hold you accountable? And this is what that means, Blake. You told me you want to make $1,500 a month. We have put the plan together, and it's a pretty simple plan. There's nothing real difficult about this plan. Are you okay with me holding you accountable to this? And of course, he's going to say yes. So I just let him know what I'm going to do, Blake. I'm going to check up on you. I'm going to invite you to all the trainings because you're here and you're spending your time with me. I'm like you. My time is very valuable, and I believe in you. So I think we should hold each other accountable, and we should go make this happen. And what that does is that starts a relationship, right?
Right.
And then I'll write down here at the bottom, and you got to understand, a lot of times the people we recruit, they're just not used to setting goals. I wasn't used to setting goals So I needed a little bit of help. So what I'll do is just kind of ask him, is there a certain amount of money that you would want saved, right? So if Blake says, you know what, I want to pay off my car, and it's going to take about $10,000, or if Blake says, I want to save $5,000 to maybe buy my kid a car, well, at that point in time, if I know what he wants, when times get a little tough, or maybe he makes an excuse like some people do, or if he skips out on a training, I can go back and say, well, you said, do you still want to buy your kid a car? Do you still want to save that $5,000? And that, to me, when Blake would do that stuff to me when he was training me, that's what kept me in this business. That's what really got me going, right? To push through the tough times. And then we'll write down first month income goal, we'll put $1,500, and we'll just kind of go from there. But what I'm trying to do with this is make sure they know it's a very simple process, and I'll ask them, is there anything on here that we can't do? And normally they say, no, we can do it all. So that's where I go on the first page, Blake.
And I love what Mike covered there. I'm about to move on. Is that with goals, see, men and women are goal-seeking individuals. So when we set goals, it's very important because people shoot for goals. And so when you don't, that's the thing with most people's jobs or most things they do, they never set any goals for anything because they've never needed to. Therefore, they don't push harder or stretch harder to go for stuff, right? But if you've ever set a goal on anything in life, typically you will stretch harder to accomplish that, right? People set New Year's resolutions. Those are technically goals, and people actually will shoot to do that. So that's what we got to do is we got to start getting them to see goals. And then also what I do is tell them this. Let's say their goal, let's just use the number $1,500 to $2,000 a month, their first month. Well, I say in order to do that, what we just talked about is those 16 appointments. But we really need to be seeing about 2 to 3 people a week, okay? 2 to 3 kitchen tables, brand new a week, in order for you to reach that goal, okay? Because approximately the amount of brand new appointments you're doing a week is about the number in thousands you're gonna make a month if you do this business right. So if you're going on 2 brand new appointments a week, 3 brand new appointments a week, you're gonna probably be making at the district level about $2,000 to $3,000 a month part-time if that's consistent. So that's very important that you're covering that on this and getting them to set goals.
And one thing real quick, just didn't mean to cut you off, but I think that it's, you know, a lot of times what I've done is I say when I ask them to hold me accountable or can I hold them accountable, I will sign. I'll put my signature right there letting them know that I'm serious, and I'll hand them the pen and let them sign, and also have them write their own goals. That way they are part of this. I you know, I've heard a lot of leaders do that, and it really, really works. It shows a little bit more commitment.
Yeah, absolutely. Perfectly said. You do not want to write their goals for them. You want to write them. It's more important when they grab that pen, they write down their goals, it sinks into their mind, and also you're getting them in the habit of setting appointments, okay? Let's move over to this. And so the first thing that I cover real quick is that I will cover this, how to get promoted, okay? So let's talk about promotions. Something different in Primerica is that you can get promoted, and the promotion guidelines are totally on you. We create the guidelines. You determine how fast you get promoted, okay? We're not gonna promote you because we like you, and we're not gonna not promote you because we don't like you. You move up based upon the numbers and you doing the numbers. So let's talk about that. Right now, you're at a rep contract. You're at a 25% contract when you get your license. But here's the thing. When you get that license, we do not want you to be a rep. We want you to be a district manager. These things are done simultaneously. You get your license. In our hierarchy, we feel like when you get your license, you should be a district manager or within days of becoming a district manager. What is a district manager, a district leader? That is a 50% contract, okay? So a 50% contract, and I'll actually use because I'll have them write this down. So what is it gonna take to get to district manager? Well, the first thing we gotta get is we gotta get 3 associates, we gotta get 3 recruits working directly with you, and we gotta get 4 training sales. What's also exciting about that is that if you do 3 associates and 3 sales within the first 30 days, so we're, again, shooting for urgency, the company is going to give you a $300 bonus. So not only are we getting you licensed, we're getting you trained, we're getting you a $300 bonus, plus potentially money off of all the other products that you're maybe already licensed for starting off in this business. Then, so what we're doing is we're getting you off to a fast start. And the goal, what I like to see, the average time frame that it takes, and this is very important when you're covering this, the average time frame it takes, Mike, to get there is 6 weeks. Now, I know you're not average, so what would be a good goal to get you to district manager? And so most people are gonna say a month, 3 weeks, 2 weeks, or the go-getters will ask, well, what's the record? Okay, so the record I think is like 4 days. So that's what's very, very important, is that we're going through what the record is and what's potentially, what's possible and how fast they can get there in order for that to create urgency in their mind, and we want to get them to double their contract. And I asked them, I say, Mike, if you went to your job tomorrow and they said you had to do X, Y, Z and we're going to double your pay, how fast would you get that done?
Immediately.
And fast as possible, yeah. Right? And so that's what we're going to do right here is we're going to double your pay. We're going to double the amount of money you get paid. But It's up to you to go out there and get those 3 associates and 4 training sales, but us as leaders, we're gonna help you get that done. We're gonna help and assist you get to district manager.
Sounds great.
Anything to add there, buddy?
Now, the main thing is, like it says right here, I like to talk to people about the scenario, because once you, in my opinion, you're a rep right now, right? I'll tell them, you're a rep right now on a 25% contract, but you'll never, we don't want you to write a sale as a rep. We want you to write a sale as a district. And the beauty behind that is that when you become a district leader, you're immediately a business owner. You have a team of people. So you have the opportunity to make money when you're not working. You have the opportunity to make money while you're sleeping because you've started to build an organization. And then I'll sometimes switch to the compensation page real quick, and I'll give them the scenario, and I'll say, listen, here's the situation, Blake. Let's say we go out and we get you promoted to a district leader. On the previous page, we've already set a goal. We put on there February 15th. On this page right here, and I'm bouncing around a little bit, but here's what's going to happen, Blake. On February 15th, because you've seen these people, you've gotten these results. And this is the main thing. What we're trying to accomplish through these 16 people, we're trying to get them 4 sales and 3 recruits, right? But I don't talk to them about, I'm not going to say, Blake, we need to get you 4 sales and 3 recruits, because I don't want them calling people saying, hey, come join my team. Hey, come buy life insurance from me. I want to focus on getting help with training.
Right.
And my job as the trainer is to get them those results through these 16 people. And what I'll show them there is I say, let's play a scenario, Blake. Because you've seen 16 people, we've gotten you 4 sales and 3 recruits, right? On February 15th, you pass your test. And because you've done all of that, let's say we go see one other person, and the premium monthly is $83 a month, which is $1,000 in annual premium. That one sale is going to pay you $500 for 1 hour of work, right? And that gets them excited, but we got to crawl before we walk. And that's the entire plan, is to show them everything that is involved. And ultimately, if you show them they can make $500 in 1 hour, they're going to be more inclined to get to class and make phone calls.
Exactly, and that's right there. You say, let me ask you a question. Would you rather, keep that right there, would you rather make, you get licensed, would you rather make $250 on a sale or $500? What are they obviously going to say? Well, $500, right? Well, would you rather make $1,750 on an investment or $1,500? Well, obviously $1,750, or one of our annuity products. Well, so it's clearly you're going to make more money. So what we got to do in the process is we got to get you licensed, and we got to get to district. And I ask them every time, if you get a driver's license and you don't know how to drive, what good is that license? Right. Makes no difference, right? Or what about if you know how to drive, but you don't have a driver's license? You're going to jail, right? And so you don't want to do that as well. So you want to make sure that these 2 things, you're getting licensed and you're getting trained, and you're doing that simultaneously, so you know what to do, and you're licensed within about 45 days at the absolute max, okay? And that's what that sense of urgency is all about, right? So that's district. Now, what I tell them at this point in time is I will draw a line right here above district, because the truth is, and I'll make a star, when you leave here today, the most important thing we need to do is getting this license and getting you to district, just like Mike was talking about. There's nothing more important to that, because that's the foundation, that's where everything starts. I'm going to go through these next 3 promotions just to show you what it takes, because I know you want to shoot there. But again, when you leave here, the main thing you need to focus on is getting licensed and getting to district. So in order to get to division, that is a 60% contract. So in order to get to district, what has to happen there is you have to have 1 direct district and basically be making 7 sales a month, and that is team sales. So I'll turn this around and write team. So this is where your team starts coming into play. That's $7,000 in team production, team sales. But again, so that means maybe, let's say I get started and I recruit Mike, and then I recruit 2 other guys as well too. Okay, let's say I recruit Lee and Erica Brown, and then I recruit Danielle and Jeff Bennett. So I got 3 superstars, right? But let's say, for instance, I go out there and make 2 sales, Mike goes and makes 2 sales, Danielle makes 2 sales, Lee makes 1 sale. That's 7 total sales, okay? And let's say one of those people go to district, boom, we move up to a division manager, okay? So that's how you get promoted there. You want to get 1 person. So I always tell people all the time, who is 1 person that's a go-getter like you that you think would get started right away? And they'll say, well, Mike. Well, great. Well, how fast can we meet with that person? And so we're creating urgency. So if Mike goes to district, so you get to district, you get 3 associates, 4 sales. Mike then gets to district, you bump up to division, okay? Now, let's move forward on the other scenario. On the 70% contract is a regional contract. So I always give my example. I say, hey, look, the first thing that I did is I got 3 people that I thought were going to be superstars in this business, and we started working together, okay? So that's 3 direct districts. So now let's say Mike goes to district, Danielle goes to district, Lee goes to district. Now I have 3 direct district managers, district leaders that are working with me, and we go out collectively and make 15 sales between the four of us, which shouldn't be that hard. It's literally, you know, one person makes 4 sales, the other person 5, whatever, and you make 15 sales in a month, which equates to about 15,000 in production, and your leader, and then you just go through that in detail. But then that is where you get promoted to regional manager. And guys, the average income as a regional manager is $3,000 to $10,000 a month, and we have regional managers that have made $12,000, $15,000. Mike, as a regional manager, averaged $6,000 to $7,000 a month before he went to regional vice president. And that we have tons of regional leaders making significant incomes, and that's where we want them to get as fast as possible. So the average time to get to division is 3 months. The average time frame it gets to regional is 6 months. And so we want you going there very, very quickly. And I always encourage them. When I'm sitting down with somebody, I say, hey, this is the average time frame. But Mike, I think you can get there faster because I know you're way better than average. And then what we'll have them do is set goals on how to get to each level. Does that make sense? So anything you have there, Mike?
Yeah, buddy, I like to show people this too, because what you just said is, I tell people all the time, you know, you're a district leader, but here's the beautiful part about this business, and this really separates it. I'll say, Blake, you know, right now you're a district leader in this business, but you know how you get promoted to the next level? You get to take somebody that is on your team, somebody who may have joined the business just to make an extra $1,000 to $2,000 a month, and Blake, you're going to get promoted again by showing somebody like me how to make $1,000, $1,500, $2,000 a month. Right. So literally, you're going to get yourself promoted to district, and then you just show other people how to make more money. And see, that's not normal, because in most business situations, it's not a win-win relationship. So if Blake shows me how to make more money, this incredible company is going to promote him again. And I think that's big time. I think that's very, very significant. And Blake's about to go into the RVP contract, but here's what I tell people all the time. I joined this business to be a district leader. I wanted to make $1,000 extra a month and continue my military career. But what I realized when Blake did this, and after learning the business, I control whether or not I become a broker in this business, and that's what really got me fired up. Right. So go ahead, explain the RVP contract.
Yeah, and then so this is the thing. This is where we say, hey, this is the big picture. Now the record is 9 months. Okay, I got there in 10 months. We promoted somebody, got there in 9 months. Mike got there with it. Mike qualified 9 months after he got back from Afghanistan. So we have people that have gotten to regional vice president very, very quickly. So if you look at this, what do you got to do to a regional vice president? First of all, it's a 110% contract plus a potential of 20% bonus if you hit the qualifications there, which most of our regional vice presidents do. It's the highest contract, guys, in the financial service industry. And so it's a tremendous thing. So you want to get there, but also what does it take to get there? Basically, it takes 4 to 6 district managers. Okay, well, why is it 4 to 6, right? Because it's also production. So what you have to do as well is you have to be fully securities licensed, so you have to have your investment license, and we need to be doing 20,000, so I'll turn around right now, 20,000 in production, 2 months in a row. 20,000, and so why is that 20,000 important? Because if you're a regional vice president doing 20,000 in production, you're going to be making about $200,000 a year with this great company on average. That's about what you would make with all the bonus and everything. So that's what I say. I want you to learn how to make money. I want you to learn that at regional, and we will promote you to regional vice president. Now, you may have 4 districts, you may have 6 districts, but you have to have 4 to 6 district managers, and we'd like for you to really have 6 in order to get to regional vice president and be doing 20,000. That's the number that's very important. You got to do $20,000 in production, which basically means you and your team need to do about 20 sales 2 months in a row in order to earn your regional vice president contract. And guys, if you really look at it, it's not very difficult, but it takes hard work, it takes consistency, and eventually, and that contract, guys, at the regional vice president level, as you see right there, $150,000 is the average income, and the approximate time frame is 12 to 18 months. And I'll ask them right then and there, I'll say, wouldn't you agree it would be worth it for you to put your head down, work your butt off for 12 to 18 consecutive months to put yourself in a position where you will be making basically $100,000 a year or more, and you will have an office with one of the largest financial services marketing company in the United States. And so wouldn't you agree that would be very important for you to do? Wouldn't you agree that would be worth it? And then what do you think they're going to say? Well, of course, right? And so anything you want to add to that, Mike?
Yeah, I do, man. And this is the thing. And I tell people all the time, I say, you know, Blake, if you come in this business, I'm not your boss, I'm your mentor, right?
Right.
And here's the thing. This isn't one of those things where you got to wait for somebody to retire, or you're not my cousin, we're not going to promote you, or you're going to get skipped out on a promotion. No, that's not how this works. Blake, if you go promote 4 to 6 district leaders and show them, or bigger, and show them how to make money and be successful, and you do 20,000 2 months in a row as in your organization with the Series 6 license, you come to me, Blake, and I'm going to promote you to vice president. And the beautiful part is, my income will go up. So basically, you join this business to make $1,000 to $3,000 a month, you get yourself to a position where you can make $150,000 a year, my income is gonna go up, right? So it's a win-win situation. In our scenario, Blake trained me from a district up. Now he makes at least $150,000 a year on my business, and I'm making over $200,000 a year, so it benefited both of us. And I try to make sure they understand that, because I really want them to understand by looking at this, they have a chance here. I didn't have a chance outside of something like this, but when I saw this, I knew I could control it, and that's what really got me overall most excited.
Absolutely, guys, and that's the beauty of this business. You help others succeed, you're going to benefit in the process, right? And if most organizations work that way, they would be booming like Primerica is as well, too. So let's go through really quickly as well, kind of get into the tail end and the meat of this, and we'll be done, guys. This right here is just allowing them to track their promotion. See, when I first got started, I was not I was not very a technical personality. I didn't like to track stuff, right? But this at least allows them to track how many trainings they're coming to, and also to track their $300 bonus. And what this does, it's also very important that you do this with all new associates, is that you have them get their phone, because everybody has a calendar in their phone, right? So say, hey, these are the most important trainings. Now, if they're working full time, they obviously cannot probably come to some of the daytime trainings. But what are very, very important is the opportunity meetings and the Saturday training. So I say, would you please put this in your phone and put this in your calendar as a reminder that we have an opportunity meeting at this point in time, at this day, at this time, and we have Saturday training at this time. Right now, if they can come to Mondays, the manager's training from 9:45 to 11, it's absolutely tremendous. Our leader, Bill Whittle, does that every Monday morning. It's a tremendous training on leadership and management. You want to come to that and you get off of work, great. Wednesdays we have training as well, drill for skill. But most importantly is our opportunity nights and our Saturday training. Guys, when you're getting somebody off to a fast start, if they don't attend an op meeting or if they don't attend a Saturday training within the first 2 weeks, you can pretty much bet they're not going to get off to a fast start, guys. Those first 14 days are so crucial that you get them to training and you get them on appointments and at least get some licensing done, or their licensing completely done, or they're basically going to be going. The ratios and the percentages go up tremendously if you do those 3 things in those first 14 days. So we talked about training right then and there. And here are the keys to success before we get involved in setting appointments. The keys to success, I'm telling you, is number 1, being coachable, right? I can tell you, I can teach you, I can train, I can mentor. I'm not a boss, but I'm a leader, and I will train you, and I can help you, and I can mentor you. But if I tell you what to do and you don't listen, then that's going to be a problem, right? Our system is in place. We have a proven system that works, right? You're not going to go into a McDonald's. Let's say you own a McDonald's franchise, and you're not going to go switch everything up and say, oh, McDonald's, hey, look, I'm going to actually do things my way. I appreciate you telling me what to do, but I don't think this is going to work. I'm going to do it better, right? No, McDonald's has a proven system. It works. Every McDonald's is basically ran the same way. It's the same way in Primerica, guys. It's a proven system. It works. We have more success stories, more people making over 100 grand a year than any other company in America. So why would you not follow the system? So you got to be coachable. Number 2 is you got to have a positive attitude. And I always say that all the time, Mike, I already can tell you have a very positive attitude. You got to stay positive, right? And also the other thing too is not listening to negative people. There's always people out there that have found that if they aren't going anywhere with their lives, they don't want you going anywhere with yours. And those are what we call negative people. You have to stay positive, and you have to listen to somebody like myself, somebody to Mike, because we are going to be out there. We're going to help you become successful. And I promise you, those people are out there being negative. They're not going to help you make 100 grand a year. They're not going to help you make an extra $2,000 a month, $3,000 a month part-time. And we're going to be the ones that help you. So would you agree you need to be listening to people that are positive and that can assist you versus people that are holding you back? And what are they going to say? Of course, right? And the last thing, guys, is we got to maintain constant activity. As Mike was talking about earlier, I'm not telling you got to go on 500 appointments a week, but the most important thing, it's just like sports. The more repetition you get, the better off you're going to be. So I'll tell them right here. Let's say I was playing basketball, and I went this week and shot 5,000 shots, right? Would you agree I'd be in a rhythm this week? I'd be doing well, very good. I'm practicing, I'm getting better. But what if I took off the next 3 months and didn't shoot another shot? Would you think that I'd get a little rusty? Absolutely. I'd be a little off my game, etc. And it's the same way in this business, guys. We're not telling you have to do a ton. Now, we would like for you to do as many appointments a week as possible, but the most important thing in this business is that you stay consistent and that week in and week out, you're seeing presentations, you're learning, you're coming to training. Consistency is so important in going through the system. And then also, come to as many trainings as possible, ready to learn, ready to listen. I promise you that we'll do our job. Also, when we're on appointments, we'll do our job of getting you referrals. Well, one appointment may lead to 10 more appointments. Well, I promise you we'll do a good job of that as well. And then also, we have a very, very high closing ratio. Our training is very good, but you just got to understand that when we go on appointments, which we're about to cover here in a second, when we go on appointments, we're not going to close every one, right? We're going to close a very high percentages because our leaders are very well trained, but we're not going to close every one. So if we go on a couple of appointments, just know that if they don't close, at least you got trained and at least you got referrals. And that's the most important thing that you can do when going on appointments. So Mike, anything you want to add to that, or you want to coach it?
Yeah, the main thing is the coachable part. And guys, this is one of those things that is one of the little things that you can't forget about. You've got to remember. Please don't assume that people are going to absolutely be coachable to you. I know that when I joined the business, everybody wants to find an easier way and a quicker way. So the first thing I did is I started setting appointments the way I thought I should set appointments. Now let's think about that. I was not successful in this business. I was brand new. I have somebody who's having a lot of success telling me exactly what I need to do, but that didn't register with me. I thought I was going to do it my own way. I got kicked around a little bit because I wasn't coachable. Then I called my leader and he told me exactly what I needed to do, and it was a smoother process. So what I'm saying is, as a leader, don't discount how important that is. We need to make sure that people understand this system is perfect. It works. What happens is people don't work the system and they don't listen to the stuff that we provided. So just please make sure you hit on that, like Blake just mentioned with the McDonald's franchise. You're not going to go in there and change everything up. Just follow the play and you'll be just fine. Now on this, you wanted me to go over this, right?
Appointment setting, yes.
Okay, yeah, and see the appointment setting, here's the thing I tell people all the time, right? This is where it really matters, in my opinion. This
Absolutely.
is where you're gonna make, you got to get people in the field quickly, you got to get them to training, get them bit by the Primerica bug, but you as the leader, you got to make sure they're set up for success. And this is what I tell people all the time. This is our target market, right? These are the people, we want to go see these people first. Now, not everybody's gonna be in that market. When I joined the business, I was a 2 out of 6, right? But Blake still met with me because we're building a team, and this is something you got to show people the importance. The first thing we're going to talk about, and again, I'll tell them, listen, I know a guy that's 20 years old in this business making over $250,000 a year. There's people in our business that are 70 making $250,000 a year, right? So it's the target market. That way you don't have new people saying, well, they're not married, we can't meet with them, right? You want to explain that in full detail. First off, we'll say people that are married. Obviously, you want to meet with married couples, right, because they have reasons for insurances, they have responsibilities, they have people they care about, right? A lot of different reasons for that. 25 to 55, what they're saying there is, before 25 years old, I know I was this way, before 25 years old, I really hadn't been kicked around a lot. I really didn't know what it was like out in the workplace, so I really didn't have my head on straight. But about 25 years old, and that's when I joined the business, is when I'd had enough, right? I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. But after 55 years old, a lot of people say, well, they're set in their ways. They're used to what they think that's all they've got. That's where they're going to be forever. Again, this is the target market, but I still meet with people that are younger than 25 and older than 55, right?
Yeah, a little asterisk on that too is that don't feel like there's people getting married. I got married at 22 years old to a smoking hot chick, right? So I was married very, very young, right? And so at 25, you get married young. People have kids young. Also, some of our best clients are people over 60. We've helped them out with retirement. So we're not saying that don't see anybody under the 25 range and don't see people over 55, but this is the target market of people that we can help out with their finances.
Absolutely right. I met with a person last week that was 57, did an investment for him, and we're meeting with 2 of their children who are in our target market. So you need to meet with everybody, but this is where you want to start 6 out of 6 with a new person. Children, that means everything, right? Again, responsibilities, education funds, but take it a little step further. People have a reason to do big things if they have children, right? That's ultimately, they want to be successful for their kids. They want to save money for their kids, and they want to go a little further if they have children. Homeowner, you can show them how to get out of debt sooner. Making a little extra money to pay off the mortgage will also, appeal to them.
Right.
Have a job. This is very, very important. Because if they have a job, number one, they can pay for insurance if they need it, right? They can put a little money aside for investments. But number two, I found a lot of people aren't getting paid enough money if they have a job. So number one, they can afford the background check, and you can talk to them about making an extra $1,000 to $2,000 a month around their full-time job. I think that's very important. And then last, if they've been in the area 3 years, there's 2 things with that. Number one, if they want to join our business, they can get off to a very fast start, right? They have a warm market. They have people to see. But if they don't want to join our business, if they're okay where they're at, they can refer you to their warm market, right? So either way, they can get you in front of more people to go see.
Let me add to this real quick, guys. What I always, you see this basketball court right here. I always reference this because the more you're in the target market, so there's 6 points we just covered, okay? The more out of 6 the person we're meeting with, the higher the ratios are of closing. So for instance, let's say if they're 6 out of 6, maybe a 70% ratio that we're going to close something, that we're going to help them out with something. But as you start taking away 1 or 2 or 3 of these 6, the ratios go down to maybe 60% or 50% or 40%. So the odds are going to be more in your favor the more out of these that we help out. And also, what I love, and right now in the NBA, the best shooter is Steph Curry, right? So Steph Curry is the best player, best shooter in the league right now. And so I always say, look, this is a basketball court. If Steph Curry is shooting from all the way down on this end to this goal right here, 3/4 of the court, he's shooting from all the way over here, and he's going to shoot best out of 10. But let's say me and Mike are shooting from right here in this area. Now Mike's probably going to go 0 for 10 regardless, okay, with basketball. But let's just say right here in this area, we're shooting best out of 10. Steph Curry is obviously a clearly better basketball player than both of us combined. But we're going to make more than him. Why? Because we're in the right area. We're in a closer and easier area, and he's shooting from all the way down here. That's exactly what this is with this target market. If you're 5 out of 6, 6 out of 6, you're basically shooting layups whenever you're making it, and it's going to be very, very easy for you to close that and help them and assist them, right? Go ahead.
Absolutely, and to add to that, just really quick too, your best recruits are usually going to be married couples that then with the spouse's support, right? That's so important. I joined this business at 25, and I was not married. I did not have children, but I did have a job, so I was 2 out of the 6. And I played around in the beginning, but when I became a 6-pointer, when I got married, when I had children, that's when I really got serious. My wife and I really got serious about the business. So always remember that, right? Never discount somebody as a recruit just because they have a job or what you consider a good job, because everybody needs to make more income. I think that's something that you really want to remember. But going into the rules, I think that other than setting appointments the right way, you have got to prepare people for this. And what I always tell people, the most important thing when going to see people, like it says right here, you want mom and pop both there. You want the husband and the wife both there. And here's the thing, if you don't prepare them for that, they're not going to think about it. You're going to go to an appointment, and the husband's going to he's not going to be there because he didn't know he needed to be there. So and just to go into a little bit of appointment setting, when I tell them to set these appointments, I tell them, Blake, will you make sure that you and Lindsay are both there Tuesday night at 5, so it'll be a qualified appointment. That way they throw that in there, and if Blake says, wow, Lindsay's got yoga at 5 o'clock on Monday or Tuesday night, then we can readjust, right? But I'm not showing up to Blake's house with just him there, because what happens is, I show Blake the best plan in the world. I show him I'm going to save him a couple $100 a month, this, that, and the other. He's all excited, but Lindsay comes home. She doesn't know what he knows. He can't explain it like I explained it,
right.
And now we never get back over there. And if we do get back over there, we got to go back again and then possibly again. So what we want to try to do is make sure they're both there. And this is important because you're teaching your recruits the right way to do things. You're setting them up for success. Do you have anything to add?
No, exactly right. You always want, because again, guys, they're not going to make a financial decision, even though one of them may say, well, I control the finances, I handle all the finances, you can just meet with me. Although sometimes you want to say, okay, well, the truth is they're still not, and they can't make a financial decision without the other one. We have to have both of them there in order to make that decision. So.
And then I'll say, Blake, a lot of times say, well, where do you want to meet? I always tell them, no, we'll come to you. We'll make it easy on you. We'll come see you at your kitchen table. This is very, very important, too, because here's the thing. If you go see a husband and a wife, and you set the appointment the right way, I would help with training. If you go to their house, well, once we show them our plans, like our life insurance plans, our investments, they can go pull that information out of their, their safety deposit box, their drawer, wherever the case may be. They can go get that stuff and bring it to the kitchen table, and that's where they're most comfortable. Right. Most companies, I tell them all the time, I said, Blake, let's pretend that you needed life insurance, and you called State Farm or one of those companies. Great company, but let's say you called them and it's 6 o'clock on a Monday night. Are they going to come sit at your kitchen table and show you a better way? No, that's not what other companies do. That's what we do. So number one, that's why it's very important. But just giving you an example, I met with a family a couple weeks ago, and the appointment was at McDonald's. I showed them a great plan, but the appointment was for help with training. They didn't bring their insurance policies with them to McDonald's, right? So we had to set another appointment, and it's just a long, drawn-out process. So you want to just make sure the husband and wife are both there, and you want to sit at their kitchen table, if the circumstances will allow, and most of the time they will.
Right, and you tell them that, guys. We pride ourselves in going to families. Most companies, most financial service companies will make you come to the office between 9 and 5, 9 and 6, and a lot of times they have to get babysitters to do that, or it really messes their schedule up if they're working. And so, guys, what we do is we pride ourselves primarily into going into their house, into their kitchen table, where, like Mike said, they're comfortable, and presenting that information to them. Now, we will come to you. We will make it comfortable for you. as obviously as long as they'll allow in the house, and most people will obviously let you allow in the house in that scenario. So
absolutely. And another thing too, and we're done with that, but I've had a lot of people say, I've been meaning to get life insurance, but everywhere's closed when I get off work.
Right.
Or I just hadn't really wanted to go do it, and then perfect, let's get it done right now. We're at their house and we have all the means to do that.
And guys, understand with this, and we'll move forward to the next one, is that most of the time that people just have not gotten around to do it, or they've never had anybody help them with any of this stuff. So we're doing people a great service. We're helping them out tremendously, and because most people have never done financial planning with anybody, most people have never been talked to, the target market has never been helped out financially, so we're in a situation where people need and want our help. We just got to be the ones that go out and do it, and this is through appointment setting. And like Mike said, also too, what you want to stress to your new associate, especially if you're doing that, you want to do 2 in a row. You want to make sure you have an appointment back to back. So because especially if you got a family, if you got a full-time job, if you're going to take a night out with your family, let's at least do 2 or 3. So that we're utilizing that time frame, and that you're getting that, and you're getting really, really trained 2 or 3. You don't just want to do these appointments, one here, one there, one there. You want to try to get 2 or 3 done in a night, so that you can get done, get trained. We can spend some time together and train outside of the appointment.
That's right. Yeah, the best thing for that, the perfect scenario, in my opinion, is the perfect appointment is to meet with a husband and wife for help with training at their kitchen table. After 5 o'clock. Obviously, if they're husband and wife, most people, one of the spouses work until 5:30 every afternoon. So you want to see those kitchen table appointments in the evening. But if they're not married, right, you can meet with them during the day, right? You can do appointments with single people during the day, and then kitchen table family appointments in the evening. But again, help with training at their kitchen table with husband and wife both there is the perfect scenario, in my opinion, when training somebody.
Awesome. Last 2 things, guys, and we're done. And this is probably the most important, okay? So when we're talking about recruits, the first thing that I always ask is, let's say I'm sitting down with Mike, is I will ask them, hey Mike, look, if you're running a business, right, would you rather be self-employed or have a business? And what he's gonna say? Rather have a business, right? I'd rather have people working with me, right? So the first question that I always ask is this, hey Mike, look, I know you're gonna do great at this business, you're gonna obviously kill it, but outside of you, who are the top 3 to 5 people that you know, and really 5, who are the top 5 people that you know that could be just as good or better than you at this business? Now, Mike, obviously nobody's going to be better than you. You're probably going to kill it. But who are those top 3 to 5 people, right? And another way to explain it is, let's say, Mike, if you owned a business, you can pay 5 people whatever you wanted to pay them to help you run and grow your organization. Who are those 5 people? Maybe they have high integrity, hard working, good, outgoing, good with people. Who would those 5 people be, right? And so let's say Mike says,
Brandon.
So we got Brandon,
Patrick, Jeremy, and that's really
Danielle, maybe?
Danielle, yeah. And what I was going to say right there, and then just say Blake.
Hey, Blake.
One thing I was going to say right there is sometimes you'll get just a little bit of coaching. When I got to the 3rd one, I may say, well, I don't really know of anybody else. Well, right then and there, Blake will say, all right, well, let's grab your phone, let's look, and go ahead.
Absolutely. No, that's perfect. So that's what you say. Some people will say, hey, I don't really know anybody, let me think. I say, look, let's because this is very important. This is the foundation. This is the clientele. This is the inventory, right? If you owned a business, if you started a business, you have to have what? Inventory. Well, your inventory here is your list, right? So go through Facebook, go through your contact list. It's funny because people say, well, I don't really know anybody. Well, you got 1,000 people in your phone, or you got 500 people in your phone. How many of those people do you not know, right?
That's right.
And it's maybe because they have a fear of talking to those people. But there's so many people out there that need our help. They want to make extra income. Don't prejudge, right? And so, again, here are the top 5. So what I'll ask them is, how well do you know these people? Okay? And also sometimes they'll write down 10, 20 people. Also, you can do what we call a champ list. Some of our organizations do very good with champ lists. Like, who do you know that's competitive, hardworking, ambitious, money motivated, positive, people skills, whatever it may be. And you're going to jot that down too. Here's another method, STEAM. So who do you know that's great at sales? Who's a teacher that you know? Who's enthusiastic? Who's ambitious or athletic? Who's money motivated, right? So these are just so many different ways for you to get potential recruits. Now, what I will also do during this is have them star. If Brandon, like Brandon and Jordan, they're married, we want to do what? We want to set up a what with them? A kitchen table appointment.
Right.
And we want to recruit them at the kitchen table and also potentially help them with their finances and stuff like that. And also we're getting our trainee trained. But let's say we have Patrick and Jeremy. They're single, not married, no kids. Well, guess what? We want to do an interview with them during the day. Right. So we have a text message, and you will all have this, especially our trainers, you'll have a text message that you will send out to these people, send out to Patrick and Jeremy, And basically what it's saying is, hey, I just got started with a great company on the New York Stock Exchange that's growing and expanding. They're looking for some people part-time and full-time to expand their office here in Alexandria, Lake Charles, Baton Rouge, wherever it may be. And I think this is something you would do well with. If you're interested, I'll pass your number along to my vice president or along to my regional leader, regional manager, and he'll be calling you to set up an interview.
And
okay?
one thing to add to that really quick, and the thing is right here, guys, you don't want people prejudging, because this is what happens.
Right.
Let's say I meet with Brandon and Jordan, and Brandon Wilkins, he doesn't want to join the business, but he knows people that are very competitive or hardworking or ambitious or money motivated or positive, or they have good people skills. Well, I may meet somebody like a Tyler Craig or a Derek Simpson through Brandon. So what I want to do is I want to make sure that I give them specifics. I don't want that new person veering off and wondering whether or not they'd be interested because they have a good job. I just really want to know who's the most competitive, who's some people that you would hire regardless of whether they'd be interested or not. That's irrelevant.
Right, and so to give you the great example of that is Mike. Mike is the #1 leader in my organization. Mike was 5 deep through this. Mike was not on my list. Mike was not on my one of my guys' list, not on another guy's list. He was on the 5th person's list. So he's actually on the 5th person's list. So we found him through 5 other people. So you never know. It's not the people necessarily on this list that's going to be the best. But they may be, but it's maybe the person that they know, the person that they know. So don't ever prejudge, jot down anybody. You want to show everybody this opportunity, because they're always going to be able to also refer you to people if maybe it's not for them for some weird reason. Okay.
That's right. If they come to your wedding, we want them on that list.
Right. So this is the associates. We want to get 2 different lists. That's the first list. And this is the second list right here, which is the ones that are the 6 pointers, the people that are married and or have kids. So this is a blank one, but we have right here one that's already filled out, and we want to qualify this list. So Mike, talk to them really quickly about how you fill out the kitchen table list and how they qualify those people.
Okay, the first thing I'll do is, like I told you before, I would ask them. I'd say, listen, I'm not really interested. I don't want to know who is interested. I want to know if you were getting married and money was not an issue, who would you invite in the first 30 within 30 miles from here? And we would start writing people down. And what we would do is I'd give them 5-10 minutes, see how quick they can fill it up. And when we get the thing full, I'll explain to them. I'll say, listen, what does so-and-so do? That's Brandon and Jordan Wilkins. So Brandon's a college student. Jordan is a nurse. Okay, perfect. So I put nurse, I put that out there by the side. And then I would go to the next one and say, okay, what does Kathy Bell do? Okay, Kathy's a teacher and her husband works at the prison. So what I'm doing is I'm pre-qualifying their list, but now I know who I can run with, what I can do. Because if that's a teacher, I already know what kind of insurance they have. So if it's a kitchen table appointment and it's a teacher, I'm already prepared. I can prepare for what needs to happen. So I go through here and I find out what they do, and I'll write it over there to the right. But right here where it says, we check everything, this person right here is a 4-pointer, okay? They are not married, so that's somebody I can meet with during the day. The next one is a 1-pointer. That's also somebody I can meet with during the day. So right there I could get 2 training appointments for recruiting for them. But I could also go down here and find a couple of 6-pointers and start filling up the evening for them, right? So the main thing is, and I also want to find out, how do you know them, right? If they say, well, that's really my good friend, that's really my aunt, that's my uncle. I want to find out a little bit more about them, because I want to get them in front of those people first.
Right. And we want their top 5 to 10 first. Like, we want the people that they're most comfortable with. Because again, and I'll tell them all the time with this, hey, you got to at least know 10 people that you could call right now and say, I'm coming over to show you something, and they won't ask any questions.
That's right.
Right? Like, let's say me and Mike right now, we're the closest of friends. Well, it doesn't matter. I would call Mike and say, Mike, I'm coming to show you something right now. I'm going to show you, Mike, Mallory, something right now. When are you free? And he wouldn't question it at all. He wouldn't say, okay, what are you coming to show me? Well, this and that. I believe that we all in our lives have about 5 to 10 people that can do that, and those are the first 5 to 10 people, because those are going to be the easiest, those are going to be the best with training, and that's going to get that person started off quickly, and that's who you want to start this list off with as far as the kitchen tables and going to see.
Absolutely, and that's the thing. You want to go see those people first, like Blake said, because you want to get them results, but you also got to be very thorough with them, because they got to know how to go see the people who they cannot do that with, right? The ones that they really got to follow the script and ask for help with training. But I'll show people this. I'll explain to them, look, this is your inventory. This is for you to get better, to get trained, to get promoted. And here's what's going to happen, Blake. You're going to go see, you'll probably get down to about right here in your list, and you're going to be a district leader, you're going to be trained, and you're going to be licensed. And by February 15th, like we said in the beginning, you're going to get to about right here, you're going to have all those goals met. But see, what happens is, those people that you recruited, they're going to want to get trained, licensed, and promoted, right? They're going to have 3 or 4 lists. You're going to have 3 or 4 lists just like this, because, Blake, those people that you recruit, they have lists just like this.
Right, so
and now we're going to start training those people, and you'll be licensed and trained and ready to rock.
Right, and you'll have so many appointments to go on, so busy, but it is a system where we got to get this started off. And so again, this is very important. Now, we just created an appointment setting CD that all of you guys will have as well, to appointment setting audio that all of you will have to be able to call these. But here's the thing too, and I'm gonna have Mike cover what he does as well too. Hopefully, and what we want them all to do is to go start setting appointments immediately. So at this point in time, we had already let them create this list for about 5 or 10 minutes. And then what you also want to do is start to role play, because I'm going to sit right here with Mike. Now, through time constraints, I'm not going to do that right now with Mike, but you can listen to the appointment setting audio. And what you need to do is role play with your new recruit, just like this, on how to set appointments. They need to do that about 3 to 5 times with you. About, hey, and I'll do it one time, just hey, so what you're doing right now is you're having Mike teach you, and having Mike go over the verbiage with you. So, hey Mike, how's it going? How are you doing? Are you busy right now? No. Hey, the reason I'm calling is because I need your help with some training. I just started off in a great company. I'm very excited about it, but I need to see a certain amount of appointments to get trained. Would you mind helping me out with one of those? And so what do? I tell him that once or twice, and then what do I have Mike do, or have the new associate do? They're gonna feed that back to me 2 or 3 times, and then also I'm gonna go through the main objections they may get. So then right then and there, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna leave the room, or if they're comfortable with me being there, I'll sit there right there and listen to them. And they're going to start setting appointments right then and there. A lot of our organization does a tremendous job of this, and this is the key to getting people off to a fast start, is we got to set appointments right then and there, okay? Now, let's say they're very uncomfortable, which shouldn't be all the time, shouldn't be very often, should be rare, but let's say they're uncomfortable setting appointments. And you're the leader, this is exactly what you need to do. Mike, if I'm uncomfortable setting appointments, and now I have Jeremy on my list, Jeremy's married, how would you call Jeremy for me?
Okay, what I would do, and I think this is very, very important, because the reality of it is you want to show them it's not really that big a deal. It's not really that difficult. And I don't think you should set all the appointments for somebody, but I think you should do at least 1 or 2. Our office, we do 3. We make sure they do not leave without having 3 appointments set. So what I would do is I would call Jeremy and say, hey, Jeremy, this is Mike. You don't know me. We share a friend in Blake Whittle. He joined our business. We're very excited about him. He's got to do a certain amount of appointments before he can come qualified to train other people and before he can get promoted. He mentioned that you're a friend of his that wouldn't mind helping him out, giving him maybe 30 minutes of your time. Would you be available to help him out on Monday or Tuesday? And then I just go through the appointment setting. It's just a third-party thing. But what Blake's doing is he's realizing that it wasn't really that big of a deal. It was very simple. It was very easy. And what the bottom line is now, because I set that appointment, I know he's going to get in the field within 24 to 48 hours, which ultimately is my goal, my overall goal.
Right, and as leaders, we do not want them leaving the orientation without appointment set. Because guys, here's the thing. This is going to be their biggest fear, most likely, okay? The appointment setting is going to be their biggest fear. So if we can help them set appointments, if they leave the orientation with appointments already set, you're ahead of the game, guys. They're excited. They left there. They're about to go see people. They're getting off to a fast start. What's going to happen, though, if you don't set appointments is they may go home. And if you don't prepare them on this, they may go home and try to set appointments on their own. They may get something negative or a no, or they may talk too much, and then they're gone because we didn't do our job preparing on this appointment setting. Majority of your time, now I know we've spent a lot of time for training purposes on other things, but majority of your time should be spent on setting appointments and helping people get off to a fast start right here and teaching them the verbiage on how to get associates and how to get out in the field quickly. So, again, Mike, anything you want to add on that?
Yeah, I do, and then I tell people this all the time because I see a lot of people, they'll go through this and they'll get the list made and then they'll send people off to schedule appointments at their house like Blake just hit on. I tell people this all the time. Imagine that your new recruit knows 3 or 4 Danielle Bennett's or 3 or 4 Lee Browns, and they're just sitting there on this list. Well, you're not going to leave it up to that new recruit to go home and call those people. You're going to make sure that you get in front of those people right then and there. And that's the way I try to explain to people. You want to take a sense of urgency. Again, I'm not saying that you set all of a new person's appointments. I don't believe in that. But I think you should lead by example and show them, let them hear the verbiage, and ultimately make sure for certain that they get in the field within 24 to 48 hours. And in my opinion, the best way to do that, you're the best player on your team, so if you set the appointment, you're doing everything you can absolutely do the first 3 or 4 appointments.
Right, guys, and the last thing is this. You go through some objections with them. You make sure you're covering these objections so they understand what they may get just in case they get anything, right? We're overcoming some objections. We'll also go through that in some training and stuff like that as well. And also these objections are on our appointment setting audio. So you want to make sure you send them that appointment setting audio and make sure they listen to that as well too after you do the orientation. And then what you also want them to do with the potential associates that aren't married, no kids, is you want them to write down their names and numbers right here on this page. You want to write down Patrick's name and number, Jeremy's name and number, Brandon's name and number, and we want to follow up with them immediately. Okay, follow up with them immediately. So here's the verbiage on that. I would call Patrick, and I'd say, hey Patrick, this is Blake Whittle. I got your number from Mike, and Mike let you know I'd be calling. And he would say yes. Say, great. Hey, what Mike spoke very highly of you, said you may be interested in working potentially part-time or full-time with our organization. And I'd love to set up an interview with you tomorrow or the next day to talk to you a little bit more about that. And so he's going to say, oh yeah, sounds great, right? Or he may ask, what is it? And then we know, obviously, as leaders, we know the verbiage on what to say if they were to ask, what is it? And you set that interview up right then and there for that new associate. So that's what you do on there as well. And you teach them how to overcome the objections at the orientation. And then also you make sure, like I said, you put that audio in their hand. And then the last thing that we cover is the champion detector. So I'll say, Mike, leaving here today, these are the top 10 things. We kind of analyze what are the people that make $100,000 a year in Primerica, what do the people do that get off to a fast start, and here's what they do. Number one, they get off to a fast start, they get their 3x4, they get to district fast, they get their $300 bonus, and they do that within 30 days. Number two is they attend meetings. They attend as many meetings as they possibly can. Hey, no meetings are mandatory, but the truth is that the more you come to, it's like practice, the more you do, the better you're gonna be. Also get other meetings. As we start building you a team and start building you a business, it's your job and our leader's job to get them to training, right? You can't just assume that because you did an orientation with them, they know about trainings. You gotta get them there, you gotta tell them, you gotta encourage. Communication is the key. Also, set their own appointments and have credibility, right? I can tell you have great credibility, but you got to start setting appointments right now, and most likely we'll do that. Actually, we will do that at the orientation. We got to start setting appointments right now. Also, start asking the right questions. Now, most of the time they would have already asked a bunch of questions, so I'll say, look, Mike, you're doing a tremendous job of asking questions. That's a sign of a true champion. So keep asking questions. Remember, you're never bothering me. Keep asking that. Also do a self-study. What does that mean? All of the great leaders in Primerica, they are listeners and they're readers. They want to listen to things to get better. They want to improve. They get on Primerica Online to listen to training. They listen to audios on SoundCloud. Also very important, you have all of the new recruits download SoundCloud to listen to the key leaders. So important. Art Williams, tons of the great leaders in the company are on there. Also handling rejection. And I say this is the thing, Mike. This is what usually stops people from winning in Primerica is they can't handle rejection, right? And they get down and they get upset when somebody says no or somebody gets upset. But it's not going to kill you, right? A no is not going to kill you. It's just sometimes upsetting. But here's the thing. If you came, and I tell them this all the time, if you came and watched me play basketball, Mike, and I missed a shot, which didn't happen very often, but if I missed a shot and I started crying and went and sat on the bench and started pouting, what would you think of me? You'd think that dude's a pansy, right? But here's the thing, what do? Is you use that as motivation and you keep shooting, right? And you're gonna make the next one. So always remember that in Primerica is that when anything happens, there's any form of rejection, they're not rejecting you, they're just rejecting the situation because they're not either knowledgeable or they got misinformed about what we're doing or bad information. So use that as motivation, keep moving forward. Also be excited about making changes. Some people are very nervous about making changes, but here's the thing, is that in order to get better in life, you have to make changes. If you want your life to look like it did last year or the last 5 years, then don't make any changes. But if you want your life to be better, you got to start making some changes, and this business can help you change in every aspect of your life to improve your life. So, and then also you want to compete early. And I'll show them those, a lot of awards, there's a lot of recognition around of our office. We'll teach you how to compete. That's what so many people love about this business. You can win company trips, awards, recognition, all this type of stuff, bonuses, cash, stock in the company. All this stuff is potentially earnable for you and achievable, and we'll teach you how to win those things. And then also the last thing is we want you to get trained quickly, because Mike, what I feel like just after meeting with you is that you're going to be a superstar in this business, so we want you to get trained and licensed quickly so that you can be one of our top managers, one of our top leaders, and you can help us train other people as well. And that's all about, starts off with you getting off to a fast start. So in closing, Mike, anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, I think the three main things, and we went over a lot of information, but you can never go wrong if you do three things in this orientation. Number one is they got to have belief. They got to believe in themselves. They got to believe in the company. You're right, and they got to believe in you, their upline. And I think that all starts with a relationship. I think you got to breathe belief into them, because once we do this orientation, it's go time. We're about to start. We're about to get after. We're about to hit those goals. So I think you need to do a good job of explaining give them the credibility of the company. I think you need to, show them the videos, show them third-party material. That way, when somebody says something negative, they've already been prepared for that. They already know. And then also, with the believing in their upline and in you, they know they can come to you if they have an issue, because there's going to be bumps in the road. We all know that. I look back on my career with Pro America, my first 4 years, I didn't jump on it. But the reason I stuck around is because of my belief in Blake, my belief in this company, and believing that this was my chance to do something really, really big. And I think that's the most important thing that you got to get through to somebody when you're doing this orientation.
And right, guys, and last is this, is that you are listening to this as a leader, okay? You're listening to this as a leader. What also shows that you're wanting to grow and you want to get better. So kudos for you for already doing that. Proud of you for listening to this and watching this, because this is going to help you get better. This is going to help you improve. And this is the foundation of this business. There is nothing more important than being great at getting people off to a fast start. I think it's more important than being great at a kitchen table presentation, being a great recruiter. There's nothing more important than getting people off to a fast start. So it's awesome that you have watched this, but make sure you implement this. I hope you've taken a lot of great notes. Go through it over several times again, because if you keep watching this and you get better, and also put this in all your leaders' hands, make sure they listen and watch this, because this is going to help you tremendously improve on all different areas as far as getting people off to a fast start. And before you know it, you'll be exploding your business, regional vice president, $100,000 a year, or way more than that, and you'll do some great things with this company. So Mike, I appreciate you. You're a champ, and hope you enjoyed that.